The Last Boss, Chapter 1, Homoakin, Son of the Brave. Each time I remember this story, my heart stops. The hairs on my neck stand on end, and my body freezes. It feels like I'm staring at a ghost. Truth is, I saw more than a ghost. My name is Akin, tall, dark-skinned, and well-built. I won't say I am handsome, but I'm not the ugliest dude in the neighborhood either. And as my name suggests, I'm from a long line of warriors. We are strong, brave, and ruthless if need be. My friends call me Eru Obojo, the fearless. And really, I was, or so I thought. My grandfather once told me a proverb. He said it in Yoruba, Tọmọdé bá débi ẹ̀rù, ẹ̀rù á bà á. When a child encounters fear, he will tremble. I never understood him until I spent 3 nights and 3 days in the claws of death. Now sit down and let me tell you my story. That fatefully had started well. The day was bright and the atmosphere had a feel of serenity about it. But I should have known it wouldn't remain so the moment I picked up a fight with a bus conductor. One might wonder, what responsible man would start his day with a fight? Don't blame me. I just needed to teach that lousy tout of a conductor a lesson. It was 9 o'clock that Wednesday morning, and I had to run a quick errand. I was on a bus en route Ikeja, sitting behind a lady. She was so skinny, I thought she might break into two if the reckless driver ran into many potholes. I didn't know how it happened, but somehow she turned around and our eyes met. Her fragrance might have had a part to play. She smiled at me, and it was at that time I saw how Tesco-ish she was. You know what I mean? That nerdy look. 2 of her incisors were larger than the other teeth, and her afro painted a perfect picture of a nerd. Her big round glasses didn't help either. Surprisingly, there was this striking attractiveness about her I found hard to explain. And that smile? Oh, it was so entrancing. But if only this Tesco knew that the chap she was smiling at was one jobless graduate that had been roaming the street for 4 years in search of a job, she would have thought twice before wasting such an adorable smile on me. I prayed she didn't see my shoes. I was still trying to reconcile her appearance and her beauty in my head when a deep voice distracted me. It was the conductor's. Guinness! A strong stench of stale alcohol filled the bus as he called the next bus stop. Hoa! Hoa! Coincidentally, Tesco and I answered in one voice. 100 naira change, oh! I quickly added. 100 naira change for me too, she added. I no tell you na say make una enter with una change. Una go marry una sef today. He unleashed another odoriferous dose and added all sorts of insulting street slangs I couldn't wrap my head around. I said nothing. I only gave him that daring look. You know, that if they burn you well kind of look. We soon arrived at the bus stop and Tesco and I alighted. We asked for our change and he handed me a dirty, tattered 200 naira note and said, Give Lekpa Shandi 100 naira, referring to Tesco. Tesco was the first to protest. How you go join us together? Shall we tell you say we dey go the same place ni? I looked at the note in my hand. God! I wondered if the money had come out of the cemetery. Even a beggar would have rejected that kind of money with a good dose of carefully chosen insults. It looks like coronavirus infested money. Ogami, Bera! He told the driver to step on the throttle and he made to jump into the bus. Bera bao! I grabbed his trouser and yanked him off the bus. What nonsense! It was bad enough that he joined us together in unsolicited holy matrimony, and now he gave us such accursed money? Insult upon injury. Never would that happen. On landing on the ground, he shoved me so hard that I almost lost my footing. That little victory must have inflated his ego. That was when the drama started. He bounced from spot to spot in an elaborate gesture. He threatened, he ranted. A stream of street jargons flowed from his charred lips like honey. I must confess, the miscreant had got rhymes. However, the driver, tired of his conductor's display, blared his horn and urged him to change his tattered money so that they could move on. But he refused, insisting that he had to deal with me. Too much monkey tail and paraga were flowing in his blood, no doubt. Before anybody could say Jack Robinson, the fight had begun, but it ended as quickly as it began. A few parries, a jab here and there, and some uppercuts to spice things up, and the tout was already lying on the floor with a swollen face. Blood flowed freely from his battered mouth. He kept shouting, "Water! Water! Water! Water!" I was breathing like it was time for him to visit his ancestors. The driver and a few good-hearted passengers rushed down and began to fan him. A good Samaritan even sprinkled the pure water, that's what we call sachet water in this part of the world, she had brought to drink on him. I signaled Tesco and we walked away from the pandemonium, leaving them to take care of their mess. Nobody dared stop me, but how I should have known that the incident was the harbinger of the horrors ahead. At about 7 p.m., I was in the midst of my friends when the blaring sound of my phone startled everyone. That was why I hated Chinko phones. The vibration almost caused me a cardiac arrest. I completely forgot I had the phone in my breast pocket all this while, a mistake I had vowed never to make again. I would be fortunate if this phone did not kill me someday. But what was I to do when I could not afford a more befitting phone? I moved away from the wise cracks of my friend to answer the call. It was Shegun, my blossom friend. Shegun almost burst my eardrums the moment I picked the call. He was mad at me. He had been trying to reach me in the last 2 days but couldn't, even after trying different avenues. Nonetheless, he sounded relieved but frustrated at the same time. "Didn't you get the email?" "What email?" I was confused. "The invite for an aptitude test. The Human Resources Department sent it 3 days ago." My head almost flew off. I had not checked my mail in 4 days, and my quarter-to-die Chinko phone had been with Lasisi, the phone repair, in the last 4 days. I didn't know whether to scream for joy or to start running like a madman across the streets. This was the news I had waited for over a year now. However, I soon understood the reason for the frustration in Shegun's voice when he told me the date of the test. It was the following morning by 8 a.m. in Port Harcourt. The earth stood still. There was a big problem, but it wasn't about money this time. Shegun already took care of that. The problem was how to get to Port Harcourt before 8 a.m. the next morning. Going by flight was not an option. The federal government had announced that the domestic wing of the Port Harcourt airport would be closed the following day to carry out some urgent repairs. That left me with only one option: the night bus, my worst nightmare. Bravery aside, I looked at night journeys. I had heard too many stories about the mishaps of night travel that did not sit well with me. However, this time around, I had no choice. I couldn't miss this opportunity for anything in the world. I knew how hard Shegun pushed in the last 1.5 years for me to get this opportunity. Shegun was once my partner in joblessness. We attended the same school and roamed the streets together for years. I remember that his red pair of shoes. God, I pity those shoes. They would scamper at first sight of Shegun if they had a mind of their own. They resembled a fisherman's canoe with the tip pointing heavenwards as if crying to God for salvation. All of a sudden, Shegun got an invite for an aptitude test in an oil firm in Port Harcourt, and his life changed. Since then, he had been pushing for me to join him in the same company, and now that the opportunity finally came, see where I found myself. I wiped the beads of sweat forming on my forehead in their numbers with a crooked finger. God, how could I put myself in this position? All this wouldn't have happened if that big-headed Lasisi had not caused more damage to my phone than the problem I asked him to fix. How could I have expected anything better from Lasisi? Was it not the same Lasisi whom his master sent away for not grasping anything during his apprenticeship? Imagine, as big as his head was, what a waste of assets. But what could I have done if it was only Lasisi I could afford? I looked at my watch and realized that the race against time had begun. I needed to act fast lest I miss the last bus to Port Harcourt.